how long ago were the orders placed? In other words, how long does it take for an order to be placed and for the equipment to be delivered?
Oh, there's no specific, it depends on what equipment you are looking at. If you are talking about a Doppler weather radar, for instance, you may have a whole period of 2 years, 3 years. In some cases, like the wind shear alert system that we have just installed, we started the process last year. I just told you that we just completed the site acceptance test for the wind shear alert system in Enugu and Owerri. Those processes commenced in 2012, and we have completed the process.
Okay, Dr. Anufo, in the face of the floods of last year, we had one of your officers here with us in our studio, and we asked a question. We said, how precisely are your predictions? Can you say the amount of rainfall that is going to fall, the amount of wind shear, and the effect that is likely to be? Can you say that with this equipment you have now?
Yes, we have become a lot more accurate. And if you remember last year, we gave the prediction, if you want us to talk about the flood of last year, we gave the prediction as early as February 15th last year. And then by July, August, September, the predictions came true. Before the floods came, we also made some review. And when it became imminent that those floods were going to happen, we even wrote to state governments informing them that this is what we have found out. So we are a lot more accurate than ever before. And these are all manifestations of the fact that we are better equipped and we are better prepared in terms of manpower. So this is where we are. Presently, we are moving into a new area because excellence, we keep saying, is a journey, it's a continuous process. And what we are talking about is science. Every day you have new techniques, new knowledge evolving, and we have to incorporate them in what we are doing. Presently, we are now going into numeric weather prediction. We have been doing the trial runs. About 5 weeks ago, we addressed the press that we are making a breakthrough in this, that we can now tell with better precision, spatial precision, that rain will fall in so and so location in Lagos, but somewhere down the line, down the town, 7 kilometers away, it will be dry. We have tried it in Abuja, and we are developing it. So we are getting more and more accurate, and thanks to the improved equipment we have, and improved training of manpower that we have.
Let's talk more on compliance level when we talk about some of these warnings and advice you bring out. Compliance level by airline operators as well as pilots, because what we get to hear is that while you've given it to them, well, he or she decides when to take off or not. So compliance level, how do you manage all of that?
Right. Thank you very much for that question. Remember the way we started. I say, who does what? I have told you what government does. And what government does is to provide equipment, provide infrastructure, provide manpower, provide regulatory and policy framework. That we have done. What about the other arm? The other arm is about compliance. And with all humility, I'm a Nigerian. I want to say that in our country, voluntary compliance is a big issue. Would you agree with me that voluntary compliance is a big issue? Do people voluntarily go and pay their taxes without being forced? Do people obey traffic regulations without being supervised? So it is still the same Nigerians that are operating the airlines. We are not saying that they are bad, but we need to improve on the aspect of voluntary compliance. On the part of the airlines, what we expect is good business practices, ethical professional practices, institutionalized safety management system, and so on and so forth, and comply with these regulations. Now, for us in NIMET, I want to tell you this. On the average, we prepare what we call flight documentation folder for every flight operation within the country or even international operations. On the average, we prepare between 120 to 150 flight documentation folders. The flight documentation folder contains all the weather information you need, that the pilot needs to plan his journey to ensure safety and comfort of the passengers. Now, our experience is that some airlines are in the habit of not collecting the flight documentation folders that have been prepared. We have cases of default. It may be here and there, but it does happen that unless they are compelled, they do not comply.
Can you link this
the minister had to issue a
to air returns
to every airline to ensure compliance with flight documentation folders. So you can see why I say that the issue of compliance is an issue. Now, when the Dana air crash happened last year, in June last year, government set up a technical and administrative review panel on airline operations. One of the things that panel did, and I happened to be a member and secretary of that panel, my colleague, Captain Shashegbo, was also a member. Part of what we saw then was that there is need for our operators to improve on compliance, voluntarily improve on compliance.
Now, I wanted us to link that with the frequent or some cases of air returns. When we talk about discretion by some of the pilots and airline operators, is there a connection with air returns?
All right. Thank you very much. Let me quickly say that we also have to be very careful the way we report certain things. We need not sensationalize or raise alarm when it doesn't, when it is not necessary. Air return is a normal safety procedure. If the captain notices anything that would warrant air return, he does that in the interest of safety. Some of the air returns are associated with weather. The latest one we have now is the air return of Arik Air from Abuja to Benin that happened on 4th of October. The captain encountered weather over Benin and had to return. Again, that shows that NIMET is working. We read the weather and we passed the information to the control tower. The control tower communicates same to the pilot in the cockpit. Then the pilot takes a decision. If NIMET was inaccurate, we wouldn't have been able to see that that weather was so bad and that warranted the air return. So when air return happens, it is thought that it's not near crash as is often reported.